brew day is happening right now. I've just mashed in. I'll let you see a bit of that footage now while I explain what we are doing. We're doing a New England IPA today. And we are, I was supposed to be doing not brew in a bag today. I was supposed to be going back to the normal Robo Brew with the malt type and all today. But I have decided against it for two reasons. One is because I don't need clarity, because this is obviously a hazy beer. And the second one is that when I was putting the grains out last night, I realised that it's kind of a mix. The base malt is a mix of Golden Promise, whatever I had left, which is supposed to be 2 kilos, and 2 kilos of Maris Otter, but I actually had 2.7 kilos of Golden Promise. So I've got a little bit more than basically what was in the recipe, and that has just boosted it up slightly. So yeah, 4.7 kilos of base malt. Got some wheat in there, a bit lower weight than I'd originally planned, obviously, because we're now up to like 6.8% in the recipe. This is, it might go higher than that yet. And we have got some maltodextrin in there. I've got about 200, just over 200 grams. I thought I had 600, but I've obviously used it and haven't realised or taken a note of it. So we've got 200 grams of that, and we've got some porridge oats going in there. There's about 230 grams, 330 grams, something like that, whatever was left basically I had in stock. So they're all going in. The yeast is going to be 644, WLP 644, which ferments low, which ferments everything in its bloody path, which is why I'm afraid this might go lower than, it's supposed to finish out at 1010, but it may go lower, who knows. I've made a big starter for this as well. And then in terms of hops, there's going to be 500 grams of hops going into this, which just seems crazy. It's 300 grams of Mosaic and 200 grams of Galaxy. Both of those hops smother the beer in their goodness, and hopefully we're going to have a little bit of a, I want more Mosaic than Galaxy basically. I want the Galaxy there, but in the background, not like up front and centre. So I don't know what it's going to turn out like, is what I'm saying. We're using 644 because I think that complements those two hops as well. And we're going to crank it up to 26 degrees. Now normally what I do is I would start it at 21, and then every day put it up until it gets to about 26 degrees. So what I'm actually going to do this time, and this is Chris over at No Quarter, has basically suggested I do this, so that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to start at 22 degrees this time, and then the very next day we're going to crank it up to 26. And yeah, you get all those kind of, when you stress that yeast, you get all this kind of crazy pineapple stuff coming off it. So that's what we're going to do, and that's going to work well, I imagine. Pineapple mango with Galaxy and Mosaic, won't it? So yeah, that is what we're going to do. We're also going to do 2 dry hops. We're going to do a small kind of next day dry hop, the biotransformation dry hop. Now normally I would just dry hop the end, but I'm going to do it this time. But it's going to be a lot smaller. It's probably 60 something grams, and then the massive dry hop at the end when it finishes fermenting. So one thing that I'm doing differently as well with the mash is I am going with, this is RO water I'm using. I'm putting like, I think it's 14 grams of calcium chloride into this, which seems like quite a lot. But yeah, but all the chloride is going in the mash, and then I'm holding back the salts, the gypsum and the Epsom, and they are going to go in during the boil. And I got kind of read that then there's a verdant competition, I'm sure most of you know about, and in the instructions basically they said something about doing that. That's what they do. So I'm going to try it and see what happens, see what kind of mouthfeel I can get off it. I imagine it's going to be a pretty good mouthfeel anyway, but we will do that and see if it makes a difference, and then if it does, then we can do it going forward in these types of beers anyway. Okay, this is our maltodextrin going in now. There's about 15 minutes left, so I'm going to get this in, mix it up, and then I'll get the chiller in. I'm going to do it straight out of the pack. Okay, so the water's chilled now to 75, I like doing 75, because then if it slips under or over, then it doesn't, there's not going to be too much of an effect. It's not going to be overly bitter, or anyway, never mind all that. This is the hot bag. I've been boiling it just the last few minutes of the boiler, just kind of sanitize it. So this is our hop stand. That's going to be about 20 minutes or so. We'll leave that. This is how we finished up. Colour wise, yeah, it's okay. I would have preferred it a bit lighter, but that's not bad, let's be honest. 105.8. Okay, so it's down in the recipe, which is what I was hoping for. This is unusual that this ever happens. But yeah, so that means if it ferments down to 10.10, that this should be about 6.3%, which is kind of, I want it more towards 6% than 7%. But if it then slips down further, then at least we have 6.5 maybe, 6.6, not get the 7%. So here's our yeast here. So this is part of the starter. I've split the starter in two, and I'm gonna use the other half in another beer. So I reckon there should be enough in there to get us going, hopefully. So about 19.5 litres as well too, slightly down on the volume because I basically let it boil for an hour and maybe 80 minutes, 90 minutes at the very most. Cutting the grass and stuff, and yeah, I just thought there's no hops in it, so may as well just let it go. Okay. Oh, I smell that already. There is a little bit of sourness or tartness in there. Okay, it's going in. Godspeed. That is Bananas 2020 New England IPA. Only make one a year. It's not terrible. It's a bit darker than what it should be. There's maybe a little bit of grey in there as well. But it's not brown, basically, is it? It's not brown. And that's all we can hope for, let's be honest. The nose on it is just fantastic. Passion fruit, mainly passion fruit. God. It smells bloody brilliant. Passion fruit, there's a bit of mango in there as well. Tropical paradise, basically. Very good. So, let me take a drink of it and then I'll tell you what happened. The flavour on it it's quite fruity as well. It's not quite as much on the taste as there is on the aroma. There's more of a kind of pineapple-y type taste on when you drink it. The body is kind of medium. But yeah, it's definitely this kind of pineapple type taste. And then behind that there's like this kind of citrus taste and a little bit of tropical notes as well, as not counting the kind of pineapple. And then right on the back end there's this kind of bitter kind of taste. It's not a bitter beer, but it is there. So what happened with this then is that it went off like a rocket, and then after day one I did the first dry hop and put it up to 26 degrees, and it just dropped like a stone within 12 hours, even less than 12 hours, it dropped to 1020, 1021, and that's where it stayed. And that is where it stayed for a week. And I was already at like 27 degrees, so I couldn't really go too much further. And it didn't want to oxidize the hop, or didn't want to oxidize the beer by taking the lid off and stirring it and stuff and creating more bubbles. So I was in a bit of a quandary about what to do. In the end, I just left it. I actually pitched the rest of the starter that I didn't pitch the first time, and that was a mistake. I should have kept that. Because I think even if I had pitched that whole starter, I think this would have stayed at 1020 regardless. So yeah, I've kind of now I don't have any of that yeast left, which is unfortunate. So I'm gonna have to buy more if I want to use it again. So yeah, it's at 1020. So I was wondering what to do, and I basically did the second dry hop anyway. I just said that's it. If it stays at 1020, it's gonna be 5%. That's absolutely fine. I'll take it. And yeah, I did the second dry hop, got it into the keg, and it actually had started for re-fermenting, I think. Well, the tilt was anyway. Now the hops were in the bag, but the tilt went down 5 points. And now there was a lot of crap, a lot of debris, hop debris, in with the kind of in with the trub after I cold crushed. So I think maybe those little bags I was using as well too, they're maybe not that great for keeping the crap out. It kept most of it out, but it still let through quite a bit. So I don't know whether it was the tilt readings that were going funny, because when you dry hop with a tilt, it's all over the place. But as the bag, all the hops were in the bag was on top and the tilt was over to the side. So the tilt was reading 5 points difference. Now I didn't actually take a gravity reading on it, and I should have, and I didn't think to do it until afterwards. But yeah, so I believe the bitterness is a little bit of like hop creep was coming to. That can be maybe the only explanation I can think of as to what that is. And with that, I think that this beer is not a New England IPA. This is a hazy American pale ale, but it is not a New England IPA. A bitterness kind of stays with you as well too. It's not intense or anything like that. It's just there, you know. But it's a good beer, but it's not a good New England IPA. It's a good hazy pale ale. If you think of it like that, then yeah, it's a good beer. But it's not. It's a failure. Let's be honest. It's yet another failure on the New England IPA. And there's like half a kilo of hops in this beer. Well, half a kilo of hops. Well, that massive dry hop as well too. It is really, really good. But I think I probably could have got the same results with less than whatever it was that went into it. It just, I don't want to say it's underwhelming. What I'm gonna say again is that I think I could have got the same results with probably less than 300 grams or whatever it was that second dry hop. But you know, it's a good beer. It is a good beer, but it's not a New England IPA. I bottled some of this off to send out, and then I'm kind of in two minds about sending anyone this out. And I've sent one out to Graham. Graham, let me know what you make of it. It's not a New England IPA. It's something else entirely. There is like a bit of a dankness in there as well too. I think Galaxy especially it's really kind of, I think I mentioned this before, it's a really aggressive hop that can take over a beer very quickly, and that's why I kind of put more of the Mosaic in. But I am still sure that Galaxy is more than holding its own. Anyway, look, I'm near finished the pint, so cheers. See you next week. Where'd you go on your holidays in 2020? Oh, staycation. Staycation. Dear God. Somewhere in Ireland.